Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I am Dara Ajayi and this is Meet the Ajayis. Alright, so we are going to continue from last time, our last video, which was Anger Management 101. So this is actually a part 2 video. The last time we talked about anger management and it was like an introductory part that talked about identifying the cause of your anger, recognizing your triggers, and also taking a step back whenever you're angry. So we're going to continue from there today, and please watch this video to the end because it's going to be useful to each and every one of you. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the three other points. There are actually 5 points in total. We're going to be looking at the last 3 points, and the third point is effective and honest communication. When we talk about effective and honest communication, we're just basically talking about open communication. Okay, so you sit down with your friend or your partner or your colleague and you communicate openly, communicate to them, let them understand what exactly you need from them. Let them understand what exactly you don't like or what you like. If you just recognize your triggers and you take a step back, you know when to take a step back. It just doesn't end there. It will be helpful to communicate with the other person, maybe your partner or your spouse or your friend or your colleague. It's important to communicate with the other person that, oh, this is what I don't like. And you have to say it in a way that is judgment free. You have to make it a safe space that the other person will be able to understand you, accurately. So it's good to it's good to honestly communicate. Okay, so from what I wrote here, I said you have to create a safe and judgment free environment. Okay, create a safe space where both of you, the two people involved in that situation, you and maybe whoever is you're angry at or with, where you can express yourselves without fear, because that's the whole point of communicating, being able to express yourself without fear, being able to honestly pass your feelings to the other person without fear. Okay, so the second thing I wrote here is to use I statements. Okay, instead of coming in and saying, oh, you always do this, you always do that, I don't like what you do this, you first start with maybe something like, I feel this way, or I feel that way, or I would appreciate it if you stopped doing this, or I would love it if you did this instead. You first start with you first use I statements when discussing sensitive topics, okay? So it prevents placing blames on the other person. It's not like you're placing blame, because once you start placing blames, the other person can get defensive and be like, oh, okay, let me defend myself. I'm not even going to listen to what you're saying. I'm going to defend myself. And that's not that's not what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day. Okay. And if you do that, you're actually not communicating effectively. So it's best to use I statement. It's best to make it judgment free. All right. Then I have some other few things here. I say active listening. I'm still going to talk about this a whole lot more, but I need to mention it here because it's part of communication. Active listening. Then clarify and seek understanding. All right. When it comes to communication, don't be vague. Don't be vague. Don't assume the other person understands you. Anybody can misinterpret you. You get. You may be saying this is okay. I don't know if you've seen a picture where number 9 was written on the floor, and the other person on the other side would actually see it as number 6, while you're seeing it as number 9. So you might be saying something, but what this other person is hearing is different. So don't be vague. Try to ensure that what you're actually speaking is clear. Okay, So clarify and seek understanding. You can ask the person, do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm explaining to you? Once you do that, you know, oh, this person is actually getting what I'm trying to tell him or her. And in that aspect, you're justified. All right. So also make an effort to truly understand their perspective. Okay, it's not just about you. Try to understand them too. Try to understand why. Why. Try to understand the why. Okay, trying to understand how they see things. It will help so that you're not offended, the other person is not offended, and you guys are good to go. All right. So validate validate emotions and experiences. Validate emotions. Don't just shut the person off. Oh, your partner is saying, I feel alone, I feel abandoned, and you're just like, "Ugh, you always feel that way." You're trying to shut the person off. Okay, validate. Oh, okay, I understand you feel this way. What can I do to make you feel better? Or how can I help? What am I doing that is making you feel this way? You're validating that, okay, this person is actually feeling this way or is experiencing this, but what can I do to help? All right. Then timing is important. Timing is important. All right. Choose the best time. Choose the appropriate time to discuss important issues. Okay. You don't go when it would seem insensitive of you. You don't try to like talk to someone in a crowd where everyone's attention will be on the both of you. It's best to do it maybe when both of you are alone, to air your grievance and to understand each other better. So timing is important. Timing is very important. All right. So like I said, practice effective and honest communication, which means you need to openly communicate. If you've not been trying this, you should definitely try it. The next point we're going to be going into now is active listening. Active listening. A lot of us don't listen. We hear, but we don't listen. Please pardon me. I might say be saying partner a lot because I have a partner, I'm married. But this conversation is not limited to marriage and relationship. It also affects colleagues, friends, family, siblings, and all. So if I say partner, just know where to, you know what I mean. I'm talking about it like myself, marriage, and but also it includes everyone. All right. Like I said, the next step is active listening. Active listening. A lot of us are just hearing. We hear a lot of things, but we are not listening. So listening is deeper than hearing. In active listening, it's important that you give your undivided attention. All right, because anything outside that is you just hearing. It's just okay, okay. Your attention is divided. You're not completely focused on what the other person is saying. Your attention is divided. So it's important that when you're actively listening or when you want to actively listen to your partner or to your friend, it's important that you take away anything that's like a distraction. If you're on your phone, you can put your phone down. If you're When you know it's a serious conversation, when you know that, oh, it's something that it's an important conversation, it's important that you do away with any form of distraction. All right. So actively listen to what the other person is saying. Be intentional about hearing and understanding the person. If you don't understand, it's important that you ask or you repeat what you think the other person has said, and if there's any miscommunication, it is corrected right there and then. Okay, so in active listening, your undivided attention is important. All right. What I wrote here is show non-verbal engagement. Show non-verbal engagement. When you're actively listening, you're not interrupting. You're not interrupting. Okay, you're really listening to the person. You're keeping quiet and you're trying to understand what the person is saying. So what you have to do, you don't have to say anything, but you can show that, oh, I'm really engaged in what you're saying. I'm following you. So you're like, okay. Hmm. I see. Okay, you can. I think you can talk a little, but the point is, don't interrupt, don't argue. So when you actively listen, it's a technique in managing anger, because in that way you're able to actually understand the other person, and it doesn't breed any miscommunication that later leads to anger, that erupts and later leads to anger. All right, what I wrote here is that by genuinely by genuinely engaging in active listening, you enrich your communication skills, strengthen emotional bonds, and foster a deep sense of understanding and intimacy with your relationships. There's a quote that says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So you first need to understand, you first need to listen before you'll be listened to. Because this listening is a big deal. If there's any break in transmission of information or communication, it can blow up, it can escalate and cause a major problem. All right, last but not least is to seek professional help. So if your anger issues are persisting, even after you've tried all this, please seek professional help. It's important. So they say if signs and symptoms persist, please see a doctor. So the same here. If after trying all this, you notice that you are still boiling hot when you're in an argument, then please seek professional help. It doesn't make you weak. It even shows a strength, a courage in you to seek external help, seek professional help. We need to talk to a professional. It's important. We need to talk to a counselor. It's good. If you need to talk to anybody, psychologist, it's important that you seek professional help. Even your pastor, if you want to go do it the religious way, you need to speak with your pastor or anyone. You can just do that if you know it's going to help. All right, seek professional help. Okay, so I'm going to add this bonus point, which is for Christians. You know, we as Christians, to all the Christians in the house, we as Christians, we actually have an advantage, which is the person of the Holy Spirit. All right, there are times when I've been angry, a lot of times actually, a lot of times I've been angry, and I heard Holy Spirit, tell me, calm down, calm down, don't say this, don't say that. All right, so I have learned to listen. Maybe not every time, I'll be honest, not every time I listen and I obey, but to an extent, I know I do. And I know at the end of the day, I get relieved or happy that I didn't actually take the decision or say the words or take the actions that I had wanted to in anger. At the end of the day, I find out that, oh, I'm better off listening to the Holy Spirit than actually acting out my emotions. Okay, so it's a process. I'm still in the process of learning to manage my anger. Like I said, it is natural to be angry. We are humans, we have emotions. We relate with people every day, and we have no control over their actions. Okay, so it's normal that we get angry, but it's important we learn how to manage the anger. It's important we learn how to not make it escalate and blow up, and you know we end up in a bad or terrible situation. So in that, I'm going to round up by saying, when you're angry, recognize your trigger. When you're angry, take a step back. When you're angry, practice honest and effective communication. When you're angry, practice active listening. Seek first to understand and be understood. Finally, when you're angry, seek professional help. If the anger is still hot, if you're not getting better, seek professional help. All right. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comment section how you deal with your anger, the techniques you use in dealing with your anger.